Test, test, test. Test, test, test. Welcome, welcome. Hello, everyone. Is it hot or is it too hot? We like it warm, but we don't like it too warm. Do we? Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the live stream. It's Monday night, 29th. Welcome everyone. Andy, Orion, Matt, you right, mate? How you been? Squeegee Dave, what's up? What's up? It's been too much, innit? It's been well too much. I'm not a fan. Jakey's been loving it. Jakey absolutely loves the heat, the sun. I've had enough of it. You finally remembered to make it on time. I thought you were talking about me then, like I finally remembered to turn up on time. Last week I was late once. I was like 4 minutes late. Alright, you big sweaty mess. Thanks, Chel. How you doing, mate? Marcus? You're right. Paul? Joseph, hi mate. I'm starting my business in pressure washing. Any tips? Loads of tips. I've got all the tips. What do you want to know? What do you want to know, mate? I've got all the tips. Would be good if you could work with your top off. We were thinking about getting some... Me and Jakey were talking about getting some branded vests. Do we think vests are they too... Are they just inherently unprofessional? Or could you have like a nice black... Maybe like one of them breathable vests that has got like your logo on it? Even if it's got your logo on it, do you think that's too unprofessional? In this weather, surely people understand. It's better than having your top off, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? Started at 6 AM and it's still too hot. Yeah. I'm doing really well, mate. Thanks. There was a lump in that. We had a long day today. A long day for me was 8:30 till 5:30. It's a long day, that is. We were pressure washing all morning, and then we did some gutters. We sucked some guts in Broadway. Has anyone been to Broadway? You ever heard of Broadway Tower? We sucked some ladies' guts in Broadway Tower. And then on the way home, some motorbiker had been knocked off his bike. We were doing some shop fronts today. Look how professional we are. I wasn't as prepared as I would have liked to have been. I had this barrier from some guy gave me this barrier from one of my old jobs. And I thought this was a great time to whip out the barrier. Could have done with another one on the other side, but not to worry. We made it work. We made it work. Yes, it's too hot. 22 votes. 64% of you said yes, it's too hot. It's been great. Gave myself some days off from the last Thursday to this Thursday, so I spent with my kids, summer holidays. Oh, nice. Yeah, it's hard to get time in with the kids when you're working. It's a good opportunity while the sun's out, isn't it? I've just got in from a hard day's graft, mate. I haven't really. I mean, I've got home, had a shower, wrote a list of stuff I wanted to talk about, and now I'm here. So I'm sort of fresh out of the shower, just feeling a little bit tired actually. It's been a good one, Elliot. Thank you. Chavi, what are you talking about? XTX. Welcome. There's a type of jet washer that wears vests. Oh, the wearing a vest is Chavi, is it? Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, maybe not then. Even like sign written vests. I mean, like embroidered. All right, Jake. What do you think about the Tsunami 21 litre per minute machine? I was thinking about upgrading to that one in a few weeks. It's fantastic. I think you posted a picture in the gutter vacuum from gutter vacuum systems, didn't you? It's a Honda machine, GX390, the one you want. It is 21 litres per minute, interpump. It looks like it's got the easy start valve on it. I'm not sure what trigger that is. You could potentially, you might want to consider upgrading that trigger at some point and getting like a Q, one of them. But other than that, fantastic. How much are we talking? 1720 including VAT. It's not a bad price. That really is not a bad price. Let me just compare that for a second. I just want to see what, because you're going to need a buffer tank. So let me just see what these business starter packs are running at the moment. Oh, they got a new one. Mini Beast. Oh, I like that you get a little surface cleaner with it. That's actually sick. Is that like a little 13 litre per minute machine or something? What's that? $14 litre per minute. 150 bar. That's pretty cool. That's got the oh, that's a standard trigger as well. Okay, okay. You get a turbo nozzle with that. Do you get a turbo nozzle with this? Do you get a turbula? You get 900 millants. No turbula by the looks of it. Zero turbo. So I mean, how much can you buy a buffer tank and a bunch of hose for? How much hose are you getting with this? 10 meters of hose with this one. So let's get an equivalent. Oh, I think these are all 20. These are all 15 litre per minute machines, I think. So this isn't a fair comparison. Oh, or 21. I'm guessing there's going to be a price difference with the 21 there. I swear I keep turning this music down. It's not going down. There we go. That's not a fair comparison, but yeah. Either way, consider the fact that you're going to need a buffer on that bad boy, and probably more hose to save yourself having to walk it around the property. You know what I mean? Perfect speedo weather. Did you see the picture of Jakey in? Let me finish showing you these pickies. So these gutter guards, by the way, absolute nightmare. They were in the middle of the gutter. So the tiles overhung more than you'd expect, and then they had the gutter guard on the end of the tile, so you couldn't actually fit a nozzle inside the gutter. So I had to literally hold the nozzle next to it, up a ladder, and brush with my fingers inside the gutter towards the nozzle. And it was just a terrible job, rubbish job, but interesting nonetheless. And we got the job done. Most of the growth was actually on the roof rather than in the gutter. So we cleared that as well. Had an ice cream. Finished the day off. And this was this morning's job. Some beautiful clay block paving. And then around the front, Jakey did this whole drive by himself this morning. Absolutely smashed it. Chemically treated it. Just going to go back later in the week to resand. The arse fell out of my bottle. Dropped it on the floor. The arse dropped out. So that was fun. What was I going to show you? Speedos. Let's have a look. I'm sure some of you have already seen. I think it's a funny picture. Here's Jakey. End of a hot day. What more do you want? What more could you ask for? Jamie, welcome. It's too much. I don't like it. I don't like the heat. Did the gutters, fascias and soffits this morning. Customer had a Lumi ice bath pod in the garden. I've seen loads of them now recently after Joe Rogan started talking about ice baths. Cold plunges. Turns out they're on sale right now for £55 including delivery. Tempted. Matt, how did you get on with the TFR? Have you tried it yet? I know you took delivery of my special TFR the other day. I'm just wondering if you've had a chance. And if so, what are your thoughts? Don't wear black shirt unless you want to boil. Yeah, all of my uniform's black, so it's been tough. Definitely not vests or topless. It looks terrible, to be honest, like them travelling gangs. Yeah, I mean, I could do with getting some white tops, but they're just going to get absolutely filthy, aren't they? I mean, the material that we wear, the dirt does sort of brush off when it's dry. They still look brand new, so I wonder if they can do them in white for me. That might be interesting. Hiya Hooper, you're right, mate. 3rd week in a row I've caught the stream now. Nice, thanks Jamie. Thanks for popping in, mate. Been on the golf course today, really nice. Hot tub this evening. Is there a way to turn a 15 litre per minute into a 21 litre per minute machine? Yeah, you just change the pump, I think. Pretty much just change the pump over. You got to just make sure the machine has enough horses to run that pump. Evening Valkyrie, welcome. Valkyrie, do you watch Valkyrie on Twitch, perchance? There's a girl that plays PUBG on Twitch. She's called Valkyrie. She's very cool. I wear a branded vest when it's boiling. Couldn't care what it looks like if it's that hot. Yeah, that's what I'm starting to think. Maybe it's maybe if as long as I'm in the polo, Jakey wears the vest. Like I don't care. He can wear what he wants, to be honest. How's the new pressure washing machine you bought doing, and is it any good? It's great, Dino. Dino, are you Dino from Facebook? All over the Facebook groups. I haven't seen you posting in a while. Darren, welcome, mate. How you doing? Me and Darren were going to do a bit of a live stream tonight together, like a workshop Q&A mid-build sort of thing, but a bit short notice, I think, with regards to getting the setup all going. Yeah, assuming the engine's powerful enough, replace the pump. I guess I don't know if because you have a reduction gearbox between the engine and the pump normally on a proper machine, but I'm wondering if you need to do anything with the gearbox. Darren, are the gearboxes specific to the pump or specific to the engine? Do you know what I'm saying? Does it matter once you've got the reduction gearbox on? Does it matter which sort of pump you slap on there, or does it have to? I don't know if I'm explaining that very well. Hello, Luca. You're right, mate. Zuma Blocks is my 9-year-old boy who's just started his lawn mowing business. Have a little sticky beak at this. He's been doing so well. This post has gone absolutely insane. I actually can't believe it. So he's saved up. He's put about 60 quid towards this lawnmower. and then I put the rest. I thought, to be honest, Luca, I know you're listening, but I thought this would be one of them things that he talks to me about once. Like, he mentions, I wonder if I could start a business, like what can I do? And I mentioned lawn mowing, and he went, oh yeah, that's a good idea. And I thought this would be the sort of thing where he'll have this idea for like a week, and then he'll forget about it and never talk about it ever again. So I just thought, I'll just wait. I won't do anything yet, because I've been impulsive in the past and just bought stuff. I'll just wait to see if he mentions it again. And he's been talking about it. It's been a couple of months now, I reckon. But literally every time I've seen him, because he lives with his mum, I see him about 3 times a week. Every time I've seen him, he's mentioning about the lawn mowing. Like, when do you think I'm gonna be able to get my lawnmower and stuff? And he's even he plays Roblox on the laptop, and he's even made a character on Roblox, an avatar that pushes a lawnmower around. He's been designing his logo. He's been doing all sorts. Like, he's got cash just sat here from some of his jobs that he's been doing. So he's so good. He's being so. I'm so proud of him. And he's just, this post has gone wild. 1.7 thousand likes and 152 comments. I think that's insane. And so I've done a follow-up one where he's had his first customer. So he headed up the road the other day. And he's cut the back garden of one of my old friends from school. And she's given him a massive tip. And she's also given this, because he was going around the edges with his little trimmers by hand to get all the straggly bits, because he was going to save up for a strimmer, because that battery powered lawnmower that he's got, you can take the battery out of that and put it into a Titan strimmer. Wasn't keen on the idea of him having a strimmer, because they're a bit difficult to use. You've got to constantly mess about with the string, and it's probably a little bit heavy potentially for him, I don't know. But then she's given him this as well. She said, oh, it's been in the shed, we bought it, we don't use it, it's rechargeable, battery powered, and you can use that to go around the edges. And he's absolutely buzzing with it. He's over the moon. So he took it to his mum's. He's done his mum's lawn. He's done his mum's friend's lawn, front and back. Yeah, he's been smashing it, absolutely killing it. Luca, I think you're doing nannies tomorrow, by the way. Nanny texted me today. I have a Clark 265, 13 horsepower, 16 litre per minute. Whereabouts can I buy a pump from? You need a replacement pump for your Clark? I would have no idea, mate. Presumably that would be quite a generic. That would be like a Clark brand pump, wouldn't it? PLS 265. If you need a replacement pump for it, oh, that just looks a little bit generic, actually. This looks like there's no gearbox on that. This looks like a similar pump to the one the Equip to Clean Kiam pressure washer comes with, but I don't know if these fittings are the same. I don't know if the adapters are like generic bolt patterns for the adapters. There's two things you got to figure out: is the spline size on the shaft that comes out of the pump, and also whether the bolts will line up. I can't help you with that, mate, unfortunately. If Darren's still in the chat, he might be able to help you. Oh, you don't have a return to tank, so you're looking to upgrade. Oh, okay. That would be the sort of thing I would personally take to a shop. Like when I had my return to tank fitted on my Equip to Clean machine, I just took it to Pressure Washer Sales and Service, and they put a new unloader valve on it, They put all the nice fittings. They drilled my tank, and they had all the hoses just there ready to go. So rather than sort of buying everything separately and trying to chuff it together yourself, you might be better off actually going somewhere and getting them to do it for you. The starter deals on ECA cleaning. .21 litre per minute machine just there. GX390 200 bar. They've got a bundle there actually, which looks tempting at that price. Oh, it's a from 21 200. Let's go 20 meters of hose. Looks like it's got a quick release trigger on it. Surface cleaner at that price as well. Easy start valve, bowl valve, 2 lances. Yeah, that looks good as well. I mean, it's got what sort of like a cheaper looking turbo nozzle, cheaper fittings on the lance and stuff, but surprisingly, these kits are also not coming with a. Does anyone agree? I think an industrial, if you're putting together like a business starter pack, for example, I think with any machine over about 15 litres per minute or 15 litres per minute upwards, I think all of these kits should have the option to add like a buffer tank, because sort of what's the point if maybe it's something to do with shipping, because shipping a big massive tank is, but you're sort of almost, if someone doesn't really know what they're doing, you're almost setting them up to fail here, because you're selling them this equipment that they can't actually effectively use. Because if they're going to plug, they're going to try and plug it like a kit, like an outdoor tap straight into that, aren't they, with their hose reel? If they've not, I mean, it comes with a suction hose there, but you might just toss that suction hose off to the side and try and plug it straight into the customer's water supply, and it's going to either damage the pump or, I mean, you might get lucky the first couple of times and manage to achieve 20 litres per minute, but most of the time you're probably not, are you? I think a bundle, a starter pack, should come with a buffer tank, really. Personally. Smart branded Speedos. Sounds like we're getting merch. Maybe. Branded Speedos. Saunas and ice baths are the best. We have a Lumi. Mr. is always in it. Lindsay, welcome. Not had a chance yet. I'm on a job with Dan at Radiant. Discord meetup. Woo! For the next 2 days. Then I have a conservatory to clean on Thursday, so I'll likely use a bit of that. Matt, just make sure it doesn't dry out, because it will leave like watermarks, like white marks. And if that does happen, because it's so hot at the moment, if it does start to dry out, just reapply the TFR and then rinse it off again. You've got a PUBG addiction on the weekends. What's the power difference in a 15 litre per minute 250 bar and the 21 litre per minute 200 bar? Let's do a little calculation. Can I open up 2 calculators at the same time? I can. So, if you want like a generic cleaning power figure, someone in the Discord showed me this a while ago. It's quite cool, actually. So 15 litres per minute times 250 bar gives you a cleaning power general figure, arbitrary figure of 3750, and then a 21 200 bar gives you a cleaning power of 4200. So overall cleaning efficiency, effectiveness, you can sort of work it out like that. And that's a good way of comparing machines and stuff when you've got different types of pumps and stuff. Darren, sorry, do you happen to know if the Clark Clark PLS 265 if you could fit a different pump onto this machine that would allow you to have a return to tank? I'd probably suggest like sticking in a reduction gearbox as well. That would potentially extend the life of the machine. Correct me if I'm wrong, Darren, but this looks like sort of a cheaper Chinese style pump. Can this be unbolted and replaced with a nice one? Is the question. You wear long sleeve shirts? Like a polo shirt? I hadn't considered long sleeves, but with the amount of crap I come home with all up my arms. I mean, I just get home and have a shower. That just seems to be the easiest way to do it. I suppose long sleeve shirts would help keep you nice and clean, but I don't know if that would be too restrictive for me. I'm not sure. Thanks for your call this week. Regards to the pressure washer and the turbo. No worries, mate. Jamie, I'm sorry we didn't figure it out. It was an odd problem to have, and you're probably still within your warranty period if you wanted to get in touch with them. And I'd do a few more tests with different nozzles, different water supplies, like set it up slightly differently, and just see if the problem persists. Because if you've already, I think you said you've only had it since May. If you've already gone through 2 turbo nozzles, it's either a really bad quality turbo nozzle, or there's an issue with the machine. If you've stripped them down and you can't see what's wrong with them, there's no grit in there or anything, but it's still pulsing, you're not going to feel that pulsing as much with like a fan nozzle. So it's a difficult problem to try and solve. Jake, can you test out a chemical injector for a video? What do you mean? What do you mean? Chelsea, what sort of chemical injector? Your lad is awesome. Gonna send it to my son, maybe give them some inspiration. Yeah, that'd be cool. Do you have much work on? Yes. We've got about 6 weeks in the calendar at the moment. 5 weeks, I think. Evening, Mark. You're right, mate. Just seen... Oh, Millhouse. There's a mowing server on Roblox. Is there actually? Thanks, Millhouse. I have 3/4 of an acre to mow if you find yourself in Bristol. Well, I went to the kennels to pick up Coda the other day, and the lady said that he can come and mow the kennels. I've got some pictures. It's pretty insane. I've just got to find time to take him over there, but this is part of the kennels that Coda goes to, and she said, look, everything needs mowing. There's fields surrounding the whole thing. All of the paddocks where the dogs can stay outside, they all need mowing. All this needs cutting. And she's just bought a ride-on lawnmower, so we can have a go on that as well. But she said, yeah, just bring him round, and she'll put it all over the Facebook page and stuff. So people are so nice. Got £45 that day. Nice, mate. We were thinking about getting him a little trailer for his bike. Can you get a bike trailer? Let's have a look. Because I know a lot of people I was speaking to a lad from London the other day who he has a pressure washer in a trailer on the back of his bike. Something like this would be pretty sick. You could fit the lawnmower in that because it folds up. It like folds up sort of. I can't do my hands the right way. Sort of folds up like a Z shape. Yeah, you'd get a lawnmower in that. That's the next move, Luca, that is. Connor, welcome, mate. You're right. eBay's 100 quidder. PM guy, welcome. That ECA bundle's what I've got. It's great, but no return to tank, and the turbo nozzle could be better, but you get 4 of the nozzles, 2 lances, surface cleaner, etc. No return to tank on that machine. Huh? On a 21 litre per minute, 200 bar Honda machine, there's no return to tank. Oh yeah, I didn't spot that. Well spotted. I mean, you've got the machine, so that's. Yeah. Was looking at the SLX 27 or the 30. What would you recommend? Millhouse, what are you going to be cleaning, mate? I was talking to Rich, my friend Rich, about this the other day. He's just ordered the SLX 25 because I said my 22 is fine for like everything up to 3-story. I can just about reach 3-story with my 22. Cleaning like gutters, faces, and soffits and stuff. So I said, if you want to be on the safe side, probably just go for a 25 because the price difference is like 35 quid. So I think he's gone for the 25. So going from a 25 to a 30, 355 compared to 290, so it's an extra 65 quid. I mean, with regards to water-fed poles, what everyone says is just buy the best one you can afford, basically. Take your budget, take your max budget, and just buy the best one you can possibly afford. Because you do really get what you pay for. I bought the... I did the opposite, and I bought the cheapest one I could possibly find. And I went for the CLX 22. I don't regret it. It's a great pole. And I'm excited now to, when I upgrade, because I will probably get an SLX, because everyone's saying that's what they use for, well, a lot of people use it for gutters, faces and soffits and stuff. But now I'm going to be able to see the difference between like a shorter, floppier, more flexible, potentially heavier pole compared to a, because this is carbon composite. I think it's half, 50% carbon, and I think it's fiberglass as well. So I'm excited to go to a full carbon, which should be a lot stiffer, and I'm going to go slightly longer as well. So that should be a nice little upgrade for me. And for Jakey as well, because he's been struggling a bit with the brushing the gutters and stuff, because it's so floppy. But I struggled for ages with mine before I sort of found the technique. Done my first roof clean the other day. Seriously underestimated how hard work it would be working from a scaffold with the pole. Any advice, any tips? Is it something you just get better over time? It's been cleaned. When you say roof clean, were you scraping or were you pressure washing? both are horrendous. they're both very difficult. I would argue that pressure washing a roof is slightly easier than scraping it. Much messier, and you'll spend much more time cleaning up, but actually doing the job itself before the cleanup is much easier. It also very much depends on your equipment as well. With roof cleaning, again, you get what you pay for. The quality of the equipment is going to have a massive impact on how long the job takes and how knackered you feel afterwards. Like I was using my CLX22 with a roof scraper attachment on the end of it, and you can imagine how floppy that was with a big heavy scraper attachment on the end. Like, it was, scraping a roof is incredibly difficult anyway, let alone with a big old floppy hole. With pressure washing, if you can, I think it was Weir Jet Washing from Scotland. In his video, he said if you can adjust the revs and the pressure on the ground so that you can hold the pole out at full length, pull the trigger, and it balances itself, where you're at the point where it'll extend out flat and you're not having to lift it and you're not having to push it down. If you can pull that trigger and it hovers with no effort whatsoever, that's the sweet spot, apparently. And that advice really helped me on my roof clean. Although, when we were pressure washing a bungalow, I've got a video of it a couple of months back. My brother was working with me at the time, and he said, like, I don't know how you're doing that for as long as you're able to do it. Like, he said after literally a couple of minutes, he said, my arms are knackered. But like, I was quite happy doing it for, half an hour to an hour without having a break. And I don't know whether that is my experience with a pressure washer, or we're just sort of built slightly differently. He's got much more, he's better at running and stuff than I am. He's got much more stamina, but it might have been like upper body strength that was helping me. I don't know, but each person's going to find it massively different as well when it comes to roof cleaning. SPF 50 long sleeve shirts, like the ones fishermen wear. Yeah, hypo safe. Yeah, my hypo safe polo tops have been fantastic. Such a worthwhile upgrade. My other polo tops got wrecked within a couple of weeks, and I was just walking around with like bleach stains all over my polos. But as soon as I got the bleach proof ones, they still look brand new. My logo could go on a flag on the back of your bike. Yeah, that'd be sick. With the GX 390 21 litre per minute from Guttervac, have a return to tank. I can't tell. Is the yellow one a return to tank? That one's the suction hose. Return to tank unloader valve with external chemical injector. There you go. Evening, Russ. You alright, mate? Pressure washing with GVS 30 pole with the turbo. Okay, so that's the same one I used. Yeah, it's very difficult, and also something people. There's a couple of things you want to do when it comes to pressure washing roof tiles. Not that I'm an expert because I don't do roof cleaning very often, but the reason some people crack tiles and stuff when they're pressure washing a roof is because they'll be extended all the way out, and they'll be pressure washing. They'll get that initial kick when it goes up in the air, and then they're pressure washing at the right height, and then they let go of the trigger, and all that weight on the end, it just drops, and the turbo nozzle will break a tile or something. So one thing you have to learn to do is, before you let your hand off the trigger, raise it up and prepare for it to drop. So raise it up off the roof and then let go of the trigger and try and sort of catch it. The other thing you want to do is don't pull the trigger while the turbo nozzle's resting on the tile, because that's another way you can damage it. So try and lift it up gently, then pull the trigger. There's my unloader valve on my pressure washers. I don't know which one he's put on there, but it's like is it a K series unloader valve or something? It's got like a soft start or something, where when you pull the trigger, you don't get that massive initial burst. You pull the trigger and it goes woo, and then you get full power. And also, you know, so that would really help for roof cleaning. Also, you know, when you turn the machine off, a lot of the time you have to get rid of all that all the pressure from your hose. So you turn the machine off and then you'll pull your trigger and it go pfft. I think that was a really good impression, by the way. For anyone who's heard that noise, that's exactly what it sounds like. With mine, it doesn't do that now because of that unloader valve. So when I turn my machine off, I'll press the trigger and there's nothing in it. There's no water in that hose, which I think is interesting. The other thing, it's been cleaned. The other thing you can do to aid your roof cleaning experience is to buy a foot pedal. Apparently foot pedals, I don't want to say it. Apparently they're a you-know-what. Say it with me. They're an absolute game changer, apparently. They're expensive, like. But apparently they're very, very well made. Heavy duty. I didn't know it looked like that. I didn't know it had the trigger in it like that. That's pretty cool. I suppose it's just the easiest way of doing it, isn't it? So having the foot pedal means that when you're roof cleaning, you are bound at this point where the trigger is. You are bound there, and so to be able to move down the roof, you need to unclip, shorten your lance, clip it back in, and then carry on cleaning. Whereas if you're not bound by that trigger and you've got the space behind you, you can just use the foot pedal and you can move both hands up and down the pole, and that's really useful on most roofs where you're doing lots of different movements. You're extended over to the left, and then you come back over to the middle because you're trying to do as much from one spot as you can. So your scaffolding tower's here. You need to extend right out to get over to the left there. But then when you come over to the middle to get to the top of the ridge, you need to shorten your pole slightly. And then you go over to the right, you need to extend it back out again. So you're constantly battling the length of the pole, but you're bound by this point of the trigger here. So you remove the trigger and you just have a foot pedal instead. It means you can just move that pole up through your arms as and when you need to. But then you've got another piece of equipment that you're having to sort of move around every time you do like a scaffolding move or whatever. And also that action of squeezing a trigger all day, your hand will be numb after that. So if you can remove that and just have a foot pedal, it is a game changer, let's be honest. Brushes, Millhouse brushes are a matter of choice. Everyone likes a different brush. And they're so sort of cheap. They're about 30 quid each. I think it's worth just getting one with your first pole and then just seeing how you get on with it. So I started with the Ultimate 26 soft medium, the mixed one, and that was really good. And then after a while I wanted a slightly stiffer one, so I went for the stiff sill brush. And then after that I went for like one of the flocked fatter ones that's like slightly wider, it comes out of the sides, and that was good as well. But they're all slightly different and they serve a slightly different purpose. So it's really about trying them, or just reading some reviews, like see if there's any reviews on YouTube maybe. I have the CLX10 and the SLX22. Absolutely love the SLX over the CLX. I'm tempted to get the SLX10. I'm so happy with them over the CLX. Charles, what do you use the 10s for? Because that's fairly short, really, isn't it? Is it just for window cleaning? And is it a significant upgrade going from the CLX to the SLX then? Do you think an SLX is going to serve me well with roof scraping, gutters, faces, soffits, conservatories and stuff? Is it going to be stiff enough for things like roof scraping? Is it like considerably stiffer or just a little bit? You know what I mean? Evening Jack, weather's been a killer, hasn't it? Oh, it's been horrible. I don't like it. It's too much for me. We like it warm, but we don't like it too warm. Hi Greg, K1 flow sensitive unloader, is that what I've got? Thanks mate. Are the Kiam diesel jet washers any good? I'm sure the engines are fine, but I would steer clear just on the basis that the pumps are a little bit cheap and nasty. And all the fittings, the lances, the triggers, it's designed to be cheap, so if you want something that's going to last, I would avoid it and get something else. If you want something cheap, then go ahead. In this game, you really do get what you pay for. You can't cut corners. Invest in your equipment, it'll serve you well. I'm getting my new machine soon from Rutland Pumps. What are the best hose connectors to upgrade to? I'm going to 3/4 inch hose pipes. Low pressure or high pressure? Daz, can you remind me which... You mentioned them the other day. They were ST45 couplings. I've got it. I've got these on mine, on my high pressure hose, and they're fantastic. They've got these sleeves on them so they don't get absolutely battered, and they've got triple O-rings in them, so you're not constantly replacing O-rings every time they blow. I've not had one O-ring go wrong since I switched over to these. They're much bigger, they're very beefy connectors, but if you compare them to something like this generic one, something like this maybe, these are single O-rings, and I was constantly blowing O-rings when I had my Equip to Clean machine. Literally every month I was replacing O-rings in various fittings, in the trigger, in the end of the lance, the ball valves. Just a nightmare. As soon as I've upgraded to these, and then I've gone for the ST2600 trigger as well. With the Q fitting, I've had no issues with like leaks or burst O-rings or anything like that. It's just been fantastic. Very worthwhile upgrade. It's a game alterer. Thought the foot pedals were really expensive. Defo will be investing in one of them. I think it was part if the problem with the trigger trying to control the pole having the same position. Yeah, I mean the other thing with roof cleaning, is, especially pressure washing, is you've got to consider everything else in the vicinity as well. You're not just cleaning the roof. You're having to rinse down the gutters face your soffits. You're having to rinse down all the bins, everything on the floor, everything else that you've plastered in moss. And that's the bit that the customer remembers, because I literally had a customer today that said he had some lads up from London or from Oxford, and they came highly recommended. They did a fantastic job on the roof, but they left his property in an absolute mess. They left the whole place in a mess, and he said that's what I remember. And he said, like, I can't really recommend them because there was so much cleanup to do afterwards, and it was at the end of a very long day. And apparently they were applying biocide onto a roof with a watering can. That doesn't sound right to me. I don't know anyone who can apply biocide onto a roof with a watering can unless you're walking all over it. And this was quite a steep pitch as well, so I doubt they were walking on it. What was that foot pedal? A new version. Is that have you not seen that one before? So there's two on the website. There's the Vega foot pedal. No other pictures of that one, so I don't know what's on the other side. Pedal operated on-off gun. Stainless steel mechanism. 275 plus VAT. And then the ST540 foot pedal. 250 plus VAT. I don't know if it's new, I'm not sure. It's on sale though. Ah, you couldn't see anything I was doing, I'm so sorry. Can we get some likes for Smelt, please? Peace and love. Thanks, Negan. Yeah, if you haven't already, like the stream. And by the way, you have 2 days left to get 5% off of your Pure Seal order. So don't forget, 5% off Pure Seal. You've got till the end of July. Have a little look. So like I said, I'm using FosClean Pro here from Pure Seal. And it's not out of the ordinary for me to be using a Pure Seal product. In fact, there are quite a few chemicals that I use on a daily basis that I order from Pure Seal. Synergy is something I regularly keep in the van. Fantastic for PVC cleaning, and it's also a concentrated degreaser as well, so great for things like oil stains and generally loosening up that surface grime. I also use their Pure Surf Boost as a surfactant to add to my hypo. And if you're not particularly comfortable mixing your own chemicals, I'd really recommend the Nuclear Pro. So this is a hypo-based product that's got all of the surfactants mixed into it, the wetting agents, the scent mask, and it's ready to go with no messing around. There are loads more that I can mention, but I think what's more important is to get proper training to use all these products. And I've actually attended the Pure Seal Module 1 approved applicator course, which has taught me pretty much everything I needed to know about how to prepare, clean, chemically treat, and seal pretty much every ground surface. They still have 6 spaces left for July the 24th, so if you're interested, make sure you don't miss out. One thing I didn't notice when I first started using the Pure Seal website is this categories panel on the side. And this feels like a little bit of a hack if you're a pressure washing nerd like me. You can search for whatever surface you're cleaning and it'll show you all the available chemicals for cleaning and specific stain treatments that are safe for each surface. And then it will tell you which sealers are most appropriate as well. Dare I say, this is a little bit of a game changer. And that's the most overused phrase in the industry, by the way. Some of you regulars might know that I've had affiliate links for Pure Seal for quite a while now, but there is something that's been bothering me a little bit. You guys have no incentive to click those links other than wanting to support my channel and throw a little bit of commission my way. I have been pestering Chris from Pure Seal for quite a while now, and I've managed to finally twist his arm into giving my viewers a temporary 5% discount code for all of your purchases. Please use my link in the description. Enter code SMELT5 at checkout to save 5%, and this code is valid until the end of July. If you make me look good this month, instead of 5%, I'll try and scrounge 10% next month. There you go. I'll just put the link in the chat for those of you that still want to get your 5% off. Get the vario pressure adjustment thing on your foot pedal. You don't need to get up and down the tower to adjust your pressure. Ooh, that's a cracking idea. How can you do that again? Can you attach this to the end? What am I doing? Can you attach this to the foot pedal then? That, I mean, I don't want to say it twice in one stream, but that is potentially an absolute game changer. If you could have a foot pedal and pressure adjustment on it, that would be sick. I'd love to have pressure adjustment on my Lance. I need to get one of these. I don't know if you get the Lance with this, do you? The wash gun. This wash gun has the added benefit of being fitted with a low trigger force technology and a vario pressure valve. Okay, so you get the gun and the valve on it. Oh, that would be incredibly useful. I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to get me and Jakey one of them, and then I can give you a bit of feedback on how they are. Daz, have you got one of these? Evening all, you in a better mood this week, Jake? Yes, yeah, I'm feeling better this week. Thanks. Significantly stiffer, says Charles. What are we talking about? Oh, the poles. My bad. I use the CLX10 mostly for windows, hypo broom and bungalow gutters. I use the SLX as a dedicated setup for solar panels, and I can still clean panels with it fully extended. Nice. Speaking of solar panels, Hayden, welcome. I'll read your message in just a second, mate. I am going through everyone one by one, so I can see your messages as you type them, but I'm still sort of working my way through everyone's chats. Speaking of solar panels, I can't stop thinking of this solar panel business idea that I mentioned last week. I still think it's a banger. If you can get set up with some sort of like van with a boom on it and like maybe a pure water tank in the back, smelts boom, you can hire them. How much of that van is taken up by the boom? How much of the inside of that van is boom? Like, how much space do you have for actual equipment, do you think? Does that mean a 3.5 ton? Does that mean? I mean, that's the capacity of the vehicle, isn't it? That's the total load capacity, isn't it? So you couldn't actually put anything else in there, in theory. What do you call these? Van mount boom lift. Van boom lift. Because if you can just rock up to a house, park on the drive, and stick that up and over the ridge and clean the solar panels from above, it doesn't matter what side of the ridge they are, because you'd be able to get to them nice and easy. You're either on the gutter line, cleaning from below, or you're above, cleaning from above if they're on the back. If you can rock up and get super efficient at cleaning solar panels, you can charge between like £10 and £20 per panel. And you get super efficient at cleaning solar panels. You could drive up and down the country and you could get so efficient at this. Like if you had, I'm just thinking, You could even have your poles attached to the boom, so that when you go up, all your equipment's already ready to go. Your pumps are turned on, so you just switch your little ball valve at the top and just start cleaning. Like, I can't stop thinking about it. But it would probably require you to get something like this to be super efficient. Else you're up and down ladders and stuff. Unless you have a big van with a scaffolding tower, but then you're spending time setting up a scaffolding tower. And then access is always going to be a little bit of an issue. Whereas with one of these, you've got options, haven't you? Can't stop thinking about it. I was thinking about it at midnight last night. I've been following your channel for some time now, and you've got me really involved and on my way to being self-employed. I live in Worcester, and I wanted to see if I could shadow you on some jobs. Hayden, welcome, mate. Thank you so much for first of all watching, and congratulations for taking the plunge, mate, and actually doing something about it. With regards to shadowing me, you can probably imagine that I get quite a few requests from people to come out and work with me and stuff, and like volunteer just to learn and things. And if I did it for one person, it means I'd have to start opening it up and doing it for like more people, and I just don't really want to at the moment, mate. It's now that I'm the sort of jobs that I'm doing, like today for example, like I was thinking today, we were working on the high street, and so it's a good job I've got public liability insurance and stuff for me and Jakey, and I'm thinking if I had an extra guy with me, I'd need to make sure that extra guy's covered. It's just all the little things, like I'm trying to do things properly, and it's also just, yeah, it's not something I want to really do at the moment, to be honest. Maybe in the future, maybe I'll be in a position where I can offer like one-to-one on the job training. That might be quite cool. But I mean, that could be something where, you know, when YouTube gets to a point where that's, you know, potentially paying for some of the jobs, I can afford to sort of step back a little bit, maybe just send Jakey out on his own, and then I can spend some time with you guys if you want to come out and do some jobs with me. And that'll be proper, you know, one-to-one on the job training, using my equipment. Maybe one day. I'm not thinking about it just yet though. I've got the MTM couplings on my Rutland pumps hoses. One leaks out of the box and I can't undo one on my trigger. Oh really? That's unusual. Have you spoke to them? I'd much rather use my SLX for everything. I just choose not to put any chemical through it for peace of mind with solar panels. What do you use on solar panels, Charles? Is it just pure water? You're not using anything else as like a soap or a detergent? I did my first roof clean today. Well, I subbed it out while I washed the driveway. I assisted with gutter empty and wash down biocide. That was enough work. That's cool. So you got some help, and that's wicked. You've come a long way, Smelt. Thanks, guide. Guide. The Vario part can be bought separately. Oh, that's interesting. That's probably what I'll do. Bought one yesterday, Vario trigger. Oh, nice. How are you getting on with it so far, Ad? $5% for July, or just gamble on 10% for August? No, I've not spoke to them since we organised this one, so I've not got anything else lined up. Don't worry, with regards to discounts and stuff. BetterHelp got in touch today for a sponsorship on YouTube, for a sponsorship opportunity. You know BetterHelp, the mental health app. I think it's an app. I'm not sure. I haven't looked into it yet. But I think that's quite a lot of big YouTubers are promoting BetterHelp. There's a chap called Rick Glassman that I watch. He's a podcaster and comedian. Joe Rogan. Theo Von has got better help as a sponsor, so I thought that was interesting. I haven't looked into it yet though. Guns and adjusters, yes. Also have them to add to pedals. Oh, you can add the Vario to a pedal. With the 3.5 ton van, you get about 350 kilograms van space weight. Okay. Has anyone used the Vibro X from PWS? After using the turbo nozzle for a few hours, I really feel it in my hands. Martin, do you have a turbo nozzle in the quick release? So say for example this one, you've got the quick release adapter on there. It's a 1/4 inch quick release. Are you plugging it into the end of your lance using that quick release, or have you unscrewed that and are you plugging it in directly like this one? You can screw it directly onto the end of the lance, put a bit of PTFE tape and screw it directly on, because Darren told me this from PWS. If you hold your turbo on the end of your lance, you can literally wobble it around. You can shake it. And if you imagine that's spinning, the inside of that is spinning, and it's introducing all that vibration up the lance, right into your arm and your elbow and your shoulder. And you can eliminate all that by literally hard mounting it onto the end of the lance. So what I've got is one turbo lance that is only a turbo lance. And then I've got another quick release lance for my fan nozzles, because you don't get that vibration with fan nozzles. There are other factors as well, like whether your machine, you know, the mounts on your machine, whether everything's actually running right. Because if your machine isn't quite running right, that will introduce vibrations as well. I think even like the type of trigger you got can affect vibrations. I've never tried the Vibro X. I might have. I have tried the Vibro X when I went to see Darren, when he upgraded all my kit for me. I have tried it, and I can't remember how it felt, to be honest. I can't remember. If it's fitted with a boom, if it's twin rear wheel, they will need a truck license. The ordinary ones, the car license is fine. The centre part is quite chunky inside. That's good to know. The van boom is about 45 grand. As you say, no weight for water, so need a Bowser. Happy to chat more about this, as this is where my business goal is. Oh really? Oh, that's cool. That's good. That's interesting to know that you're looking at a similar path. Not that I'm even seriously considering it, I just can't stop thinking about it. Your small Peugeot was tiny compared with the boom type. You could arrange things in it in a way to suit the roof ladder. Ooh, a roof ladder to swivel off to the side when parked up. I will see what you're saying. That's an idea though. Van mounted roof ladder, like a fire engine. Is that even a thing? Can you have a swingy swivelly ladder from the roof? Probably wouldn't work. It would need to be like an A-frame ladder where it comes to a point at the end, because wherever you are on the van, you're not going to get like a flat surface to butt up against, are you? No, I don't think it's a thing. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? You know how fire engines have got that ladder on top, where it comes off the top of the fire engine and it goes straight up to where you need it? I think I'm talking nonsense. Absolute nonsense. How's the stream going? I think it's going quite well. What do you guys think? Can I get a thumbs up or a thumbs down? My mate's got a boom. It's a winner. He cleans render and rents the van out with an operator. And without an operator, it's good money, even when you're not using it. Yeah, I've seen a few people using cherry pickers and stuff, and and they rent it, and you can sort of hire an operator as well for the day, which is a bit weird to me. Sort of employing someone for the day to do your job for you. You know what I mean? Because if you're hiring the operator as well, they're going to be sort of doing the roof cleaning for you, or doing the gutter clearing for you. And then what are you going to do? Just sort of sit back and sort of watch. And then you got to pay them, obviously, not only for their time, but for the equipment hire as well. And how do you know they're going to do a good job? So that's a bit of a weird one for me. I think I'd rather just hire the equipment and do it myself. But in like a commercial environment, you're going to need like an IPAF license and all that sort of stuff. Back in 2009, I got a lend of old ESB Iveco. Used it to do chimneys and hay barn roof. Full paint job was amazing. Then as an electrician, used all types to fit lighting, Christmas decorations, etc. I'd love to have a play with one. I'll shadow you, Jake. I'll be in my Smelt branded Speedos. You won't know I'm shadowing you because I'll be lurking in the bushes. Every now and then I'll pop out and scrub the hypo in, or that synergy. and you'll be like, wow, this surface cleans it. What are you talking about? You're a nutter. BetterHelp have a huge budget. Interesting to know. Did I see something about the BetterHelp the other day that some dislike its stance of selling info to third party? Could be. I don't know, mate. I will look into it before I do anything. Going to bed. I was getting up at 5 tomorrow. Hope stream goes well. Thanks, Dauntless. Thanks for watching, mate. I was told by someone who fits solar panels that putting any chemicals on the panels can void the warranty. He said only use pure water should be only pure water should be used. Don't know how true that is. What happens with the boom van when you can't get near the house because of the front garden? Yeah, at that point you're going to need ladders and stuff anyway, aren't you? Thanks, Jake. I'll try and screw the turbo nozzle in and see if there's less vibration. There absolutely will be. Definitely will be. But then you've got to buy another lance for your other nozzles. Solar cleaning, just pure water, water-fed pole and scrubbing. Have you come across... I'm interested to know, have you come across one that's got such heavy litching that you haven't been able to do like a satisfactory job on it with just a water-fed pole and a brush? So we did this one the other day. It was caked in bird poo and litching. And I started using this scrubber. It's just like an Unger squeegee adapter without the squeegee. So it was nice and soft. It was just plastic. And it was doing a cracking job. I was concerned about it scratching, so we did a few tests and stuff, let it dry, and it was fine. But this absolutely changed the way I'm going to clean solar panels going forward, because if you have them cleaned regularly, it's fine. It's not going to be an issue. But if you've got one like this where it's been left, they're impossible. They're literally impossible to clean with a brush. And you could be there for hours and hours and not make much progress. And so we found that wetting them down with the light TFR, giving them a little scrub with the scraper. Keep it nice and wet so the TFR doesn't dry on. And then just scrub it with a brush and rinse off with tap water. And that looks amazing afterwards. Really, really good. There's Jakey using the scraper. Just buy a fire engine, you have a purpose-built pressure washing truck. Yeah, that's true. I wonder how big the tanks are in fire engines. I know you've spoken about it many times, but what's your thoughts on the GVS 3600 clamped carbon fibre, carbon rigid neck gutter vacuum systems, looking at the 40mm pipe to add a 15 metre extra pipe? Personally, I don't like the idea of carbon fiber gutter poles, although I've never tried one, so I'm coming from a place of absolutely no experience. From what I've seen, carbon fiber has a tendency to fray and to scratch and to snap, and if you need to maintain them as well. I think you need to apply some sort of cream, some body butter. I think you need to apply body butter onto your pole. No, I don't know. I think they require much more maintenance. I've done nothing with my aluminium poles since I bought them about 2 years ago. They still look as, I mean, they're a bit battered, but they still function as if I bought them yesterday. There's no difference in how they perform. A few little dents and dings here and there, but nothing that's going to put me off using them. Occasionally I'll spray a bit of you can get PTFE like grease. Occasionally I'll spray some of that on the fittings, because they do start to crunch when you've got too much grit in them and stuff if you don't clean them out properly. I really like my aluminium ones. I'm happy with that little bit of extra weight, probably quite a lot of extra weight. I'm happy sacrificing that instead of purchasing some gutter poles that are way more expensive, and if one of them goes wrong, or it breaks, or it frays, or it's not usable, the price that you have to pay to get a replacement, they're crazy. They're so much money, and I just don't want to have to worry about that. So aluminium poles are the ones to get for me personally. But I've got the GVS 3600, and it's a great machine. Very bulky, so if you're only doing residential work, I would say just stick with a Panther. If you're going to be thinking about doing commercial work, schools, industrial stuff, then the 3600 is probably the one to get. Fire appliance ladder. Yeah, one of them. Look at that. That's what we need for the solar panels. That'd be sick. You could reach anything with that. I wonder if you could repurpose an old fire truck and use it as a pressure washing setup. Working height 27 meters. Water tank 1,800 liters. Oh, you can't even see what I'm looking at. I'm so sorry. I'm not really on the ball tonight with all this. Pretty sick. Yeah, look, you can clean planes with it. Working height 42 meters. Insane. The cherry picker operator only operates the cherry picker. Not true, because I remember HK Pressure Washing rented a man and a boom, and he basically went up and helped him clear the gutters. I think you hire their labour as well for the day, or you can. You rent your boom out for people doing other jobs, not just jet washing. Anything from putting up Christmas lights. Yeah, once you've bought the equipment, I suppose you just rent it out and other people can pay you for it. Waiting for the rotary solar brush here this week. Then have one lined up. We'll DM you pictures. Ordering the squeegee from your video. Ordered the squeegee from your video. Yes, ordered the squeegee from your video. Which squeegee? What are you talking about? The squeegee? I don't know what you're talking about. I know Squeaky Clean Dave's got a couple of videos on the rotary solar brush. One question, because I got absolutely soaked. I had to do like a full flight of stairs and got drenched. Any tips on how not to, or is it inevitable? Steps and stairs are, you're gonna get absolutely drenched every time. I don't know what to do about it. We did one the other day. Where was it? We did a block of flats for an estate agent the other day. I don't know if I posted the pictures. I know they're in the Discord. By the way, I've just added a bunch of images to the Discord. In the boosted images section, added a couple of conservatories in there that you can use for your marketing. Some before and after pictures, some concrete, some block paving pictures that you can use. These ones are quite nice ones. I've been meaning to add more, I just haven't found the time to sit down and go through all my photos just yet. But so these are the steps that we did for an estate agent the other day. These ones weren't too bad, but around the back there's these steps here. Yeah, you just get absolutely soaked. You're pointing the lance. Basically, anytime you hit a corner, anytime you get into a corner and you're pressure washing, you need to sort of point the lance down there and sort of look away while you're blasting into that corner, because if it's a corner like that, or if it's a corner like that, it's going to come up and over you and just end up absolutely drenching you. And Jakey got absolutely soaked when he was doing these. Come up well though. We did a good job. I'm starting to get a little bit of a tickly throat, you know. Fire engines are 2,000 litres, but the pump is not designed for high pressure. Yeah, it's just high flow, isn't it, with those pumps? Most of the time I've been using Rubicon to clean solar panels. I've had no problems, so whatever, they come up so clean. Have I been doing it wrong? What are you talking about, Rubicon? Would you price a roof scrape and a wash and a roof wash pretty much the same, or is one more than the other? We had this discussion in the Discord. I'm in two minds, because with a roof wash, with a pressure wash, the customer's getting instant results. But with a roof scrape, you're going to achieve the same results in around about 12 months, 24 months time. But it's much harder work. So it's a delayed result, but harder work, versus instant result, but arguably slightly easier. I don't know. So if anyone else can answer that question in the chat, do you charge roof scraping and pressure washing differently? Rubicon. You mean the drink? Literally the drink. You're using that to clean solar panels. Or is this what you're talking about? Citrus cleaner degreaser. Okay. Never heard of that. I bought some more no-nonsense degreaser from Screwfix the other day because I haven't tried it in a while. I'm going to try it on some gutters and stuff to see how it performs. I think it's a good all-rounder to just keep in the van. You was using no-nonsense sealer last time. What are the pros and cons of that? No-nonsense versus pure seal. Seb, thanks for asking that, because I was going to talk about that this week. What time do you usually start and finish work, mate, especially with your expansion into solar panels, etc.? I haven't expanded into solar panels. I've always sort of done solar panels, but we don't really do many of them. I normally start around, I pick Jakey up about 8:30 most days. Generally don't turn the machine on till 9. I'd like to be home between about 2 and 3. because we work hard, and you know we don't have very long breaks. Occasionally we do. That's a lie. Occasionally we do, but we work really hard. You know, we're not stopping every hour, half an hour to. You know, the only time we're stopping is if the water pressure's bad and we have to turn the machines off for a while. And I'm just trying not to cram too much into the day. I'm just trying to stay at the point where I'm enjoying work. If I get to the point where I'm trying to do three or four pressure washing jobs a day, and I'm running around like a headless chicken, and I'm having to start early and finish late and stuff, it's not going to be enjoyable anymore. Like I'm enjoying what I'm doing right now, so I think it's enjoyable for Jakey as well. I think we've got like a nice balance at the moment. I'm earning enough money where I can pay the two of us. We're comfortable, and we're not stretching ourselves too thin. And I think that's a good place to be. I think people can get a little bit consumed by the money sometimes, and you try and do as much as you can in a day, or maybe you end up working 6 or 7 days a week just to fit people in. I ain't doing that. No chance. I'd rather spend time with my family. I'm going to do 5 days a week. I'm going to do as shorter days as possible. I mean, I'm busy enough as it is. Like, it's not like I'm not busy. Even though I'm finishing at 3 o'clock, I'm still spending the next 2 hours doing admin stuff. For me, life's not about trying to make as much money as possible. I'm trying to enjoy my life. And you spend so much time working. Why not do something you enjoy? And I know I'm in a fortunate position where I have plenty of work on. I know not everyone has a lot of work on, but I think it's partly down to the fact that if I was rushed off my feet every day, I can guarantee you the results wouldn't be as good as they are now. I wouldn't be putting out a higher quality as the standard of work that I'm doing right now. I can guarantee that. And I'd be not getting back to people. I'd be forgetting to do quotes. I'd be I'd be cutting corners, and I'd be just trying to rush around everywhere. And taking it a little bit slower and steadier means not only am I less stressed, but I'm able to actually enjoy the job that I'm doing. And because I'm enjoying it, I'm happy going the extra mile for these customers and just making sure I'm doing a bloody good job every time. And then that feeds into more work then, because people see that. People see the details. They appreciate you stopping and talking with them and going into detail about the work. And they see all the little things that you do. And that will mean that every customer of mine now, I am treating as a customer for life. And it's because I get to spend the extra little bit of time on these jobs to make sure that they've got no reason not to call me back next year. I don't think I've had any callbacks. I've not had one complaint this year. I'm trying to remember back to, like, you know what I mean? And so it means that the recommendations will keep flowing in. You know what I'm saying? Hello. Yeah. You're right. Would you do me a favour? Are you busy? You're very, very busy. No. Could I have a bit of rum and coke, please? Have you had that last can of coke?
I've had it.
Oh, have you? The last one in the back of the fridge? Oh.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
You were on coffee.
Yeah, I was on the coffee, yeah. Don't worry. No, it's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Bye.
So the no-nonsense sealer. Let's get back on track. If you have a look on their website, how curious is this? Screwfix no nonsense sealer. So it's a water-based acrylic sealer, right? And I think these are all fairly generic. Like, how many different versions of water-based acrylic sealer can you get? I don't know. So I was looking through the Q&As the other day, just out of interest. I don't know why. But an answer took me by surprise. And I think these are generic answers from Screwfix or from the manufacturer, because a lot of them are the same. It's like a copy and paste answer to a lot of these people. And so one of them said, it has an active ingredient that kills weeds and algae. Therefore, yes, it would harm plants and grass. Someone asked, does it harm plants and grass? It's got an active ingredient that kills weeds and algae. In a sealer. I thought that was very curious. And then I read on. I carried on looking. Will this product help kill off algae and weeds on patios? And it says there's an active ingredient that kills weeds and seals the stones or slab to make it easier to remove dirt. With algae, this will remove this. However, it may not stop it from coming back. So if you spray sealer on top of algae, it will remove it. Do you know what I'm saying? That is that took me by surprise. Look how deep in the weeds we're getting here. If it kills weeds, wouldn't you need a license to spray it? No, not if it's not marketed as like a weed killer. No. Best product for removing oil stains. I have a lot of success with either the Screwfix no nonsense degreaser, but I haven't used it for a while because I've been using Synergy instead from Pure Seal. But you can get the Screwfix no nonsense degreaser, 12 quid, 5 litres. You dilute it about 4:1, I think, or you can use it neat. And fragrance free, removes grease and grime. You can use that on gutters, faces, soffits as well. I never have, but I'm going to try it soon, I think, just to see what sort of finish it leaves, whether it leaves them all shiny and stuff. Or you could go for the Pure Seal Synergy. This is a really good all-rounder, and this will remove oil. The only thing I'd say is, with both of these products, depending on what surface you're cleaning, depending on how long the oil's been there, you can see the sort of environment they're using it here. Depending on how long the oil's been there, depending on what sort of oil it is, depending on how porous maybe the bricks or the slabs are that's got the oil on, there's loads of different factors, which is why it's important not to make any sort of promises when it comes to oil stain removal. It's likely that it will look great when it's wet and when you cleaned it and stuff. But when it dries, it's likely that there'll still be a shadow. And you'll need to reapply this product multiple times during the clean. Apply it, brush it in, rinse it off. Apply it again, brush it in, rinse it off. And so on and so forth. If it dries and there's still a shadow, which there often will be, in my experience, more times than not. You'll then want to use Oil Clear Pro, which is a super concentrated, very effective at removing those shadows. So that would be the one to do. If you're on tarmac, apparently Synergy and that no nonsense degreaser is not suitable for tarmac, although I've had really good success using it on tarmac. You're not supposed to, apparently, because it will degrade the tarmac. If you're looking for a product to use on tarmac, you might want to look at the Max Clean Pro. That is also apparently very good at removing oil from tarmac. I hope that answers your question. Do you want to go halves on a water cannon mounted helicopter for solar panel cleaning? The SDS on Rubicon will strip the coating over time. If you service the same solar panels regularly, it will be an issue. First clean, you'll be okay. That's my logic with using TFR on solar panels. Everyone's saying, like, don't use products on solar panels, only use pure water. But if the customer has allowed the solar panels to get into a state where you can't effectively clean them with just pure water, meaning there's loads of bird crap or liching on them, I would argue that a one-off first clean with a TFR, even if it's a caustic TFR, as long as you rinse it really thoroughly afterwards, I would argue that that's okay. I wouldn't recommend ongoing regular cleans with TFR. Once you've done a really good job of it once, you could probably then get away with maintaining those every year with just pure water, I would say. Any advice for what to do? I've gone a bit quiet at the moment. What are you doing? Are you doing any sort of paid advertising at the moment? Have you got much of a portfolio of work anywhere? Have you got a website? Have you got social media? It's hard to say without knowing sort of what you're already doing. I would like to start getting into repointing in order to offer a full package on patios. I'm interested in which patios you can use jointing compound on. All of them, as long as the joints are wide enough. So they need to be wider than about 3 mil, I think, the joints. Let's have a look. Oh, they've got a porcelain one. Let's take joint it simple as an example. Joints must be a minimum of 3 mil. That's pretty good remembering, wasn't it? Off the top of my head. So the only issue, we strongly recommend that limestone and any flamed or honed black granite are pre-sealed prior to application. Ooh, must be sealed both sides before applying joint it. That's very in the weeds. I didn't expect that. Cool that they're telling you about it though. The other thing to watch out for with the repointing, it's something I posted in the photo. So I'm pricing up this one. Should we price this up together actually? Now the joints, these joints are pretty massive to be honest. I can't work out if the patio's been laid upside down or not. I don't think it has, but some of the slabs are facing, some of the bevels are that way, and then other bevels are like, some of them are like inverse and some of them are the opposite to inverse. So I'm not sure, but this is a 50 square meter patio. And the first question I ask when I'm quoting up a repointing job is, so my process is I grind out the joints, I clean everything, I chemically treat everything, and then I brush in a hard setting jointing compound. Are you happy with that? Because some people are expecting you to do like a full traditional repoint. Some people know that the jointing compound doesn't last forever, but as long as you're clear with them and say, this is the service I'm offering at the moment, it's designed to last up to about 3 years before you might start seeing signs of degradation. It is pressure washer safe, although pressure washing is going to reduce the lifespan of it. So if you can clean it really well, repoint it, and then if I can come around and regularly maintain it with a biocide treatment, it'll mean you won't need to pressure wash it every year, and we can prolong those joints. So the first question I'll ask is, are you happy with a brushing jointing compound? The second one would be, do you have any loose slabs? Because this chap has got one loose slab over in the corner here, and I'll explain. This product is just decorative. It's not designed to hold any slabs in place or anything like that. Yes, it sets hard, but not hard enough to stop a slab wobbling around. So if I brush that jointing compound into those joints, and then it dries hard, and then someone walks on it and the slab goes like that, it's going to pop all that jointing compound out, and it's going to crack all the way around that slab, and so it's going to look crap. So if you go to a Patio, we actually turned one down recently that we quoted for the full repoint. We got there on the day, and I'd had a look around. We quoted it all up, sent the customer the price, they're happy with it. Luckily we hadn't bought any of the stuff, but I went round there to clean it, and as I was walking on it, I noticed a lot of the slabs moving around, and I said, to be honest, I think this patio has been laid on sand, because every single slab pretty much has a very, very slight wobble to it when you walk on it. And I said, we're going to repoint this whole patio, and then within a week you're going to be calling me saying all the jointing compound has fractured and it's all popping out. So I said, don't waste your money. If you want to have it repointed, I would suggest having it relaid or having it traditionally repointed, which isn't a service that I offer at the moment. I am interested in doing it traditionally, but apparently it's a lot more work. It's weather dependent and it's higher risk. So I'm not sure if I want to get involved with that, but it would be nice to offer like a full patio restoration service, because I think that's a job you could do all year round. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to. If you become really, really good at grinding and repointing with like a good type of jointing compound, we were looking at the Nexus Pro Joint, Nexus Titan we were looking at, because this one is ultra high strength apparently, and this one you can drive up to 10 tons on it and it won't crack. And so this would be the one to get if you're not comfortable doing it traditionally. This would be the one to get. That's going to offer your customer, it's pretty much the same service. You're offering them the same job, but you can offer them a better suited product that's going to last much, much longer. So you can offer them the cheap option, which is the Pro Joint poly sweep or whatever it's called, the cheaper one, or you could offer this one, which is probably more expensive, but it will last a hell of a lot longer. So I might look into like pricing up. These guys actually got in contact with me on TikTok. They said, if you're interested in trying out our products, let us know. Oh, that basalt colour looks nice. So yeah, a few things to consider. This one's 50 square meters, but my price generally is around about £12 per square meter for repointing, £12 to £15. But on 50 square meters, £12 per square meter is only 600 quid. And I'm looking at this photo, and 600 quid to grind out all these joints with me and Jakey, and then buy all the materials and come back and brush in a jointing compound. That just seems too cheap for a patio of this size. So I'm considering upping that slightly, maybe to around about £15 per square meter, and that takes us to £7.50, which I think I'm a little bit happier with, because the results on this patio would be stunning. And I generally also price it based on the joint width, because if you've got massive joints like these, you're going to be using a lot more product than you would before. So this £15 per square meter would be everything, including the clean, the chemical treatment, all the materials, and then the labour to apply the brushing jointing compound. The Tyson is about £75 a tub. The Titan, this one, that's £75 a tub, is it? That's good to know, because the other jointing compound, like the one from Screwfix, which I actually quite like, the no-nonsense jointing compound, which you've got to scroll a really long way to actually get to, is 32 quid for the tub, and that is a 15 kilogram tub. So if we compare that to the Titan, which is a 22.5 kilogram tub, so you get an extra 7.5 kilograms. So it's a tub and a half of what you get with this, but it is more than double the price. But it's going to last a hell of a lot longer. Hello, Luca. You all right, mate? I'm really keen to try this. I've actually got to quote this one tonight, so. 75 quid a tub. Matt, are you still here? Can you send me that link for your calculator, please? Matt's been working on a jointing compound calculator with the Smart Dock Club is getting overhauled soon. I can source pave to 15 kilograms at £21 plus VAT. So Matt's overhauling Smart Dock Club to have a few extra tools on there, like chemical ratios, dilutions, jointing compound calculator, all that sort of stuff. How do I view this in... There we go. So it's 50 square meters. Base cleaning price is £3.50. Jointing compound cost per tub. Did you say 75 quid? Can you get it on Amazon? It's £82 on Amazon. Do you have to pay for delivery? Free delivery. I wonder if it's with Prime, because I'm not signed up to Prime at the moment. So 82 quid. Cost per tub 82. Coverage per square meter Does it say? Oh, here we go. Joint size, these are going to be on the larger side. So let's go 6x900 slabs, which I think those were roughly 4-sized Indian 600 series. Let's be on the safe side and pick this one. The biggest joint width, 12.5. Additional labour. How much do I want to charge for labour? Well, let's see what that comes out of. So the cleaning price is 175, which sounds about right. The total materials is going to be 328 quid. And then the labour, so that's already £10 per square metre with no labour for actually brushing in the jointing compound, which does take a long time. Let's do £2 per square metre and see where that brings us to. 100 quid in labour. That's me and Jakey probably spending half a day there. That needs to be £4 per square metre. I think that's fair. Still cheap. I mean, 100 quid each. Half a day. Brushing the jointing compound. Scrape it. Compact it. I think this one's actually self-compacting. Self-compacting. So does that mean you don't have to with a little pointing tool? I think that's more reasonable. Even still on the slightly cheaper side, I'd be more comfortable if this was about £15 per square metre. Maybe with these, I should be adding 10% onto this materials charge. So this should be about 90 quid really. 735. I think that's about right for this Titan stuff. And then if I'm going to use, so that works out to almost £15 per square metre, so that's good. And then if I'm going to use the cheaper stuff, it's going to be around about 36 quid. 519. Let's bring that up to 11 square meters. Sorry, £11 per square meter. Okay. So let's call it 530. So £11 per so this calculator is a great way of figuring out your prices going forward. So in theory, once you've used this calculator once, you don't need to use it again. Once you've worked out a price for a specific type of surface or a specific job, write that down. Write down what the price per square meter was, and if you do that job and you're happy with how much money you've made and it's covered all your materials and you think, yep, I could charge that again, use that price going forward. You don't need to keep coming into this calculator and inputting all these details every single time. You should just be able to use it once or twice if you need to adjust things slightly, and then write it down. So for example, I'm working on my ceiling prices at the moment. So for example, this one here, pattern imprinted concrete ceiling, as a general figure, I'm at around about £12 per square metre. Tarmac ceiling, £12 per square metre. This is including cleaning, product, labour. Block paving with a water-based sealer, £8 per square metre. Slabs with a water-based sealer, £7 per square metre. So now I can add jointing with Titan, the more expensive one, roughly around about 15 per square meter, and then jointing with, what was the other one called? Jointing with just like a generic, not the poly sweep, fusion, I guess, but I'd probably use the screw fix stuff going forward. So jointing with screw fix would be more like £12 per square meter. I think that's what we said, wasn't it? 11. Do I want to do £11 per square meter? Because you have to compact it as well. It's not self compacting. So yeah. Got all of the socials, lots of great reviews, and I'm posting high quality before and after pictures like twice a week in over 20 groups. I have also got hundreds of my other before and after pictures on my Facebook page. I mean, are you at the point now where are you posting stuff that's relevant to the type of work you're trying to land? For example, pressure washing season, and don't be afraid to reuse old images and stuff. So pressure washing season, at the beginning of like January, February, you might want to consider starting to gear your content towards pressure washing, patio clearing. Get booked in now to get a head start on the summer. You know, don't miss your opportunity, all that sort of stuff. And then towards sort of August, September, you might want to start gearing the content more towards maybe gutter clearing or roof cleaning or whatever you want to offer. I suppose it's difficult if you're struggling with the work. Have you got a Google page? Do you keep the Google page updated? I'd argue if you can, even posting twice a week, you could potentially up that. And if you're doing regular work, although you just said work's starting to slow down, but if you can pretty much post everything you're doing, even if it's not totally related to the actual job itself, if it's not totally related to pressure washing, still just keep posting stuff and keep the page active. Same on the Google page. I don't keep my Google page active, so that's something I should be doing really, but I just don't think I need to at the moment because I'm all right for work. Maybe start gearing the content more towards videos. If it's just pictures that you're doing, maybe try and do some videos. And I was thinking about it today and yesterday. I had this it's not a revelation, it's I'm sure hundreds of people have said it before, but I don't think we should be advertising necessarily. I don't think anyone wants to watch an advert. Does anyone agree? I don't think anyone wants to look at an advert. I don't like watching adverts on TV. Adverts on social media, I will just scroll past. I was thinking about it with Callum, because Callum's just done a big push on his social media advertising for his solar panel bird proofing and stuff. And I'm looking at the sort of content on there, and it's potentially for me the sort of stuff that I would scroll past, because it's an advert. You're trying to sell me something. If you can change your mindset and gear the advert more towards something interesting, this is something interesting to watch, rather than this is something I want to sell you. If you can do that instead, or just interesting photos, before and after pictures. Obviously before and after pictures have got to be satisfying. That's the pull. That's what makes people click. But if you can also tell a story in the post, or do some or explain something that's interesting or difficult about the particular job, it's almost sort of selling itself, and you're advertising to a potential customer without actually trying to sell them anything. And I think that's where content should be going. And you're not tricking your audience. You're just not doing it how everyone's done it for the last God knows how many years. You know, since the internet's been a thing, and newspaper, you know, columns in newspapers for adverts. Who goes to the back of a newspaper and reads all those adverts? You know what I mean? The big 2-page spreads that you get when you flick through a newspaper and it's suddenly a big advert. That for me is like, oh, that's a waste of a page. Not that I read a newspaper, but you go to the next one because that's like, I don't want to look at sofas. You know what I mean? You've got to, I really believe that you've got to sort of try and advertise to people without them knowing that you're selling them something. Give them something interesting to click on, rather than trying to give them an advert. When you give a 15% discount for having different services done, is that a 15% discount just on extra services or the whole amount? Generally the whole amount. I'll often say to people, if they've expressed interest in gutter clearing, they want their patio done, they want their drive done, they want their conservatory cleaned as well, I would like, okay, I won't tell them this, but the price is creeping up, and if I give them this massive price all in one go, chances are they're either not going to get it done at all, or they're going to pick a few things to have done. And I might have considered that job, I might have priced that job up. I don't know why I keep fiddling with this, I'm sorry. It's probably really annoying. I might have priced that job up thinking I want to win the whole thing, and so I'm pricing each service slightly lower than what I would normally. So I might price the conservatory clean 10% lower because I know I'm probably going to get the drive and the patio as well. Well, what if you do that and then they say, I'll just have the drive done? So you've lost out on all that additional work, and you've priced the drive cheaper than what you normally would have. So what I tend to do, instead of doing that, I do the breakdown. So your drive is going to be this much, your patio is going to be this much, your conservatory, your gutters. I do all those at full price. They have, I'm not trying to do a discount or a deal or anything. I'm charging them all at full price. So if they only pick one service, they're paying full price for that service, and I'm not missing out. At the end, I'll say, however, this is the total. If you decide to have all this done on the same day or during one visit, I can reduce the price by 10 or 15%, which brings it to a total of this. And that way, you're being very clear on what the prices are, and you're also being very clear that you only get the discount if I only have to make one visit. Because I've also been considering, like, well, what if I say if you get all this done, then you get the 15% discount? What if they say, okay, I'll have it all, I'll have some of it done now, and I'll have the rest done in 2 months' time when I get paid again, and then they just never do? I think it's very important to write, if you have all this done on the same day, then you get the discount. And that, I'd say probably 7 times out of 10, that turns into you actually winning all the work. Because at the end of the day, they've expressed interest in having everything done. Sometimes I'll walk around a property and I'll say, have you considered having that done? Like, we do clear gutters as well, so if you need those, do it, because I can see there sort of, if you want us to do it while we're here, it'll be cheaper than paying us for a second visit, if you know what I mean. Just found one for 65 quid. I suppose if you shop around it might be cheaper. Okay, thanks. I think £15 per square metre is a fair price. 2 people, lots of work, fantastic result. Yeah, I mean, you get what you pay for, don't you? And I've done plenty of repointing jobs now, and I know how hard it is. So I'm not gonna do it. I'd rather lose the work entirely than do it too cheap, because it's not worth it. You know what I mean? Why isn't your channel called Smelts Pressure Washing and just called Smelt? Because the channel could be about anything. I don't want to limit myself to only having to talk about pressure washing. I want this channel to be whatever I want it to be in the future. So if I want to transition into gardening, or just cleaning solar panels, or Smelts gutter clearing, or Smelts business advice, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't want to box myself in like I did when I chose my business name. The tool is designed to help people create a standard charge for each service based on the product sourcing. Yep. Spotless Solutions, welcome. You're right, mate. If we can standardize the industry and separate from the Facebook 50 quid boys, then we are win-win. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think anyone that watches this channel is watching it because they either enjoy the content or they want to learn, and so even taking the time to watch these videos and watch the live streams and stuff proves that you're not one of them 50 quid Facebook boys, because you're trying to do things properly. And I think some people think I'm doing a sort of disservice to pressure washing by sort of giving away the advice and stuff for free. But I think the more people that watch me and hopefully watch me do things properly and learn the way I price stuff up, I'm hoping we bring the standards of the industry up. Not like I'm going to do that single-handedly, but hopefully I can do my little bit to bring the standards up. Luca, thanks for watching, mate. See you in a bit. The screw fix is a smaller tub and does less per square meter. You're right. You are absolutely right. So I should have changed that in my quote, shouldn't I? So that might have been more like 7.5 per square meter. So I need 7 tubs. So that raises the price slightly. Very good point. Evening, Richard. You're right, mate. Websites use Facebook Pixel. So if someone visits your website, you can advertise to them because they were interested in your business. Not sure what you mean, mate. Switch more to a content creator to engage with future customers. Phil, are you talking about advertising? I mean, I think that's the direction that everything's going, is more content rather than advert. You want to... People have got such short attention spans these days that why would you want to spend time watching adverts? I get annoyed. When... That's why I stopped watching terrestrial TV. You watch a 20-minute program or 25-minute program, and six minutes of that is you watching 2 separate ad breaks. And I'm thinking, why am I sat here watching adverts? That's crazy that I'm spending time. I think time's very valuable. If you're sat there watching adverts, like sometimes I watch Twitch. I'm very sad and I watch people play games on Twitch. And sometimes you open the Twitch app, and before you've even seen what the person's playing, it's already queued up 7 adverts. 7, like 15 to 30 second adverts in a row that you can't skip, that you've got to watch before you get to watch your favourite streamer. I think that's outrageous. And every time that happens, I close the app and I don't bother. And I'll go and watch YouTube or something. At least on YouTube, some of the ads you can skip. Jake, got a commercial job to soft wash a building, but people in and out all day have been asked to do the work after 5 p.m. How do you do this type of job? You definitely want to be charged. I mean, that's cool. That's a great job to land. And it's cool that you have to do it after hours. I think that's a bonus. That would kind of excite me. I think that it's something that can't be done during the day, and that would potentially set you apart from some other people that wouldn't be prepared to do that. You definitely want to charge like an out of hours rate. So whatever your normal rate is, maybe add 10 to 15% on top of that. Maybe I've never actually done it. So does anyone else have like a? I mean, I work Sundays and I don't charge any extra for working a Sunday because I've chose to do that. And if I book someone in and I offer them a Sunday, it's because I'm offering them a Sunday. It doesn't make a difference to me. But if you're specifically going outside of your schedule, maybe like on a Saturday, and it's the only time it can be done, or you've got to do an evening or a night shift, then does anyone else think that you should be charging more, and how much more would you charge? It's definitely something to I wouldn't know how to quote that sort of job without sort of knowing what it is that you're doing, how you intend on cleaning it, what sort of surface it is, how big it is, all that sort of stuff. There's so many factors. But generally, I was speaking to Rich the other day about it, and he's got one coming up that he's quoting for. And I said, you can measure the perimeter of the building of whatever surfaces you've got to clean. Say it's cladding, say it's like metal cladding. You can measure the perimeter on Google Earth and then guesstimate the height. And then you can times that height. You can find out the square meterage of the surface you're cleaning based on a little bit of guesswork. And then you can just apply your pricing structure to that. So normally, to wash and chemically treat some slabs, I'm at around about £3.50 per square metre. So if I can find out the square meterage and I'm just soft washing with a water-fed pole and then rinsing, I think I could get away with charging about £3.50 per square metre for that. And if I know the rough square meterage, then I've got my quote, haven't I? And then if I'm working after hours, I just add 10 or 15% on. With all commercial work, you want to definitely price, I think, higher than you normally would. Like today, for example, that job that we did today, light commercial work, I suppose, but it's still commercial nonetheless. We were out on a high street, pretty busy high street, doing some shops, doing some gutter clearing on the front of these shops, and it was a lot of extra effort to make sure that people weren't going to walk under the ladder. We had 2 people. One was a blind man that was trying to walk past, so we had to move some bits to make sure he got past safely. Another person was a lady on an electric wheelchair who wouldn't have been able to get up the curb to go around us, so we had to move the barrier, move all our equipment and stuff, and help her through to make sure it was safe for her. But like, anytime you're doing work with the public, in and around the public, just being proactively like safe is harder than just doing like a residential property, because you've not only got to consider your own safety, you've got to consider everyone else's safety around you as well. And then in commercial jobs, generally they're going to be a bit bigger, and so you've always got to add that extra little bit onto the quote to account for anything that goes wrong. My brother taught me that, and he said, if there's so much that can go wrong in a commercial environment, or there's something you've slightly underestimated that makes the job, to be able to finish the job, it's going to take you twice as long because there's something you didn't see, or there's a regulation that means you can't actually do it like that and you've got to do it a slightly different way, or one of your pieces of equipment breaks and you've got to go and hire another piece of equipment to get the job finished. All the additional paperwork that's involved. You could spend hours doing the health and safety documents just to be able to submit your quote for the job. And then what if you don't get it? It's like all that time's been wasted. But all those hours that you that you had to spend creating documents or editing documents, that needs to go into the quote as well, because that's time that you've spent on this job, and time's money. Some people will submit RAMs, like a generic RAMs form. So if you've got like a RAMs, like a health and safety policy, and it's like a generic, this is what you can expect if we were to quote for the work. So here's your quote. Here's some draft documents so you can see the sort of stuff we look at. If you'd like a full comprehensive risk assessment, that'll be done upon receiving a deposit or something, you know what I mean? Someone visits your website. If you have Facebook Pixel installed on your website, you can advertise to just those people, and they see ads they want to see, i.e. you as they saw your website. Okay. So I can earn money from people seeing ads on my website. That's interesting, through Facebook. I know you made a funny video about this, but have you ever had a client not pay or delay? What did you do? The only customer I've had that delayed payment was a care home. It was Sophie's sister's old care home that she used to work for, and they were under new management. This young lad from London who, oh god, he's one of the worst people I've ever met. He was just a knob. He was just so in over his head of what he'd just done, like taking on this care home, and he had no idea what he was doing. And he said the funds for all the money is locked up in an account that we don't have access to just yet. We're going to get access to this account in 4 weeks, but we're doing a grand opening, like a grand reopening. So we'd like you to do the work, and then we'd like to pay you in 4 weeks. I said, yeah, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. No problem. Did the work. 4 weeks went by. Sent them an email. No, we still don't have access to the bank account. It's going to be another couple of weeks. All right, I'm getting impatient, but whatever. It was quite a significant amount of money as well. And so, like 6 to 8 weeks go by, still not been paid. And then it gets a bit further and further along. And I email them, quite a snotty email, saying, I know this sort of money doesn't mean much to you, because you're clearly doing very well for yourself. But for a small business owner like me, this is a significant amount of money that I've, I spent a day at your place working hard, and I'd like you to pay the full balance within the next 24 hours. And then he emailed me back saying, oh, the balance was cleared 2 days ago. I was like, damn it. I feel stupid now. But yeah, it took way longer than they said it would to pay me, but oh well. That's the only bad experience I've had. YouTube are starting to get bad with their adverts and not being able to skip them, especially on longer videos. Could be a minute plus worth of ads before starting a video, even during a video. Just to let you know, the content creator has control over what sort of ads you see, So whether they're skippable ads or whether they're aggressive ads or not so aggressive, you can change the settings. Whenever you post a video, you can change the monetization options. So it's down to the sort of people that you're watching as to whether, as to what sort of adverts you get, whether they're skippable or whether they're more aggressive, longer, non-skippable. Advertising works, or you would not be bombarded with it everywhere. Think of it as brainwashing, which is basically what it is. Advertising definitely works. I just don't think anyone likes being advertised to. It's like someone coming and knocking on your door and trying to sell you something. Like, I've not got time for this. Please go away. Like, as polite as I can be, I'm not interested. And if you keep pushing me, I'm going to get angry, sort of thing. I'm just going to close the door in your face. If you don't take no for an answer, I'm just going to close the door in your face. You can't do that. with an advert online, with like a non-skippable advert. If you want to see the content that you're interested in, you've got to watch the advert, and so I understand. And that's how people get paid, and it's how platforms expand and get better and stuff. I totally get it. But the general public do not want to be advertised to. And so if you can find a slightly different way of doing it, where it makes it more interesting and enjoyable to actually watch an advert, that's the way to do it, I think. Oh, sorry, Darren, am I not understanding? Facebook Pixel shows your ads to people on Facebook who have visited your website. So it's targeted because they were looking at your website. Oh, I see. I understand. Where's the iced coffee? It's gone. It's gone, mate. My voice and my throat is starting to hurt, which is a bit worrying. It's like hard to swallow. I got a phone call earlier in the week. Someone had seen my YouTube video, and he said, "All right, mate, I'm just looking for a quote for you to paint the tarmac on my driveway or something, or that was it. He wanted me to repaint his block paving because he'd seen my YouTube video." I said, "Okay, happy to quote for it. If you could fill in the contact form," I'm sending everyone to the contact form on my website because it's just easier consolidating all of my inquiries through email, because I'm finding it a bit overwhelming getting everything from different platforms. So he phones me. I say, "Yeah, just pop on my website, fill in this contact form, and give me as much information as possible. And also you can attach some photos here, and then I'll get back to you." He's like, "Can you give me like a rough estimate of how much it's going to cost?" And I said, "Unfortunately, no. Every job is totally different. It depends on the colours that you want. It depends on whether you want a border. It depends on how big the area is. It depends on whether you want hard setting sand or whether you just want sealer, or just, there's all sorts of different options, and I quote on a job by job basis. So best thing you can do is fill out the contact form and I'll get back to you." He said, "Yeah, so it's about the size of the one that you did on your video, but times that by 3. So if you could give me like a rough price." I said, "No, honestly, I need to see it. I need to measure it up, and it depends on the types of blocks that it is. It depends on the options that you want. Like, it's a very specific service, and I don't have a set price for it just yet." He said, okay. But if you were to give me like a rough price, I said, "Mate, there's no point in me giving you a rough price because it's going to be totally random. It's just going to be a guess, and it's going to change. So there's no point." He said, "Yeah, but like what would like a rough price be?" And I went, "Mate, I can't give you a rough price. What don't you understand?" And then he just put the phone down. What do you do with someone like that? Like, am I speaking a different language? I get it a lot. The people just calling up, they're never going to have the work done. They are not interested in having the work done. They just want a rough price. And when you ask them to put in a little bit of effort and go onto your website and actually give you some information. I also asked, "Whereabouts are you?" And he said, "I'm not far from Redditch." I said, "Okay, whereabouts?" He said, "Oh, it's only around the corner from Redditch." I was like, "You're not answering any of my questions. Like, you're not giving me anything. So why do you want me to just give you why would I just give you a rough price?" Like, he wound me up so much to the point where I snapped at him. And I don't think I've ever done that with a customer, to be honest, or a potential customer. But that wasn't someone that I wanted to work for, so he can shove his rough price up his arse, for all I'm concerned. Sounded like someone on a job trying to figure out what to quote their customer. Yeah, maybe he could have been trying to sort of poach my prices and figure out how much I charge. Maybe. Little does he know, I run a whole YouTube channel live stream giving away my prices. So he could have just watched that instead. He really pissed me off. Also, the other day, I went to Wix. So I'm just reading from my list of things that that have happened this week because I think they're quite interesting. I'll talk about that in a minute. I went to Wix the other day, and I've still got to get back. I was supposed to go back today, but I haven't had time. They've sold me a bunch of wet sand. And I was going through the pallet. I was going through the pallet because the bags were damp on the outside. And I looked at the top few and I thought, oh, they're all like clumpy inside. They're totally soggy, totally wet. And so I pulled the whole pallet apart and found some bags in the middle that looked okay. And I took it through the till. I said to the girl, that whole pallet of kiln dried sand, you shouldn't really be selling it because it's wet. And she went, oh no, yeah, we keep it outside, but it's fine, you can still use it. I said, no, I can't. It's kiln dried for a reason. It's supposed to be dry. Like, I use it for brushing into driveways, and if it's damp or wet, it's not going to brush in properly. Like, you shouldn't be selling that pallet of sand, really. And she went, oh, I said, do you want to buy it or not? And I went, well, I found like 6 bags that look okay. I'm not really happy paying £7.60 for it, but it's a Sunday, and so nowhere else is open. So I bought 6 bags, got to my job. 2 of them were okay, and the rest of them, I hadn't looked at them well enough. Like, maybe the top was dry, but the bottom was totally damp. Like, totally, really wound me up. Ruined my day, that did, because we started late as well. It was a Sunday. I picked Jakey up at about 9 o'clock. Went to Screwfix to pick up some sealer. But I didn't realise builders merchants aren't open till 10 on a Sunday, but Screwfix is. But everywhere else is shut until 10. So we're hanging around for an hour waiting for Wix to open. And then I get into Wix and they're selling wet sand. And it just... I had to text my customer saying, like, I'm going to be later than I expected because I said 10. But then it got to like 20 past 10 before I actually arrived. So it annoys me when I'm late. And not only am I late, I've just spent so much money on wet sand. So I'm going to take it back and I'm going to make a complaint, I think. Should I, I'm not going to be a knob, but like, should I speak to the manager and say, like, this is not acceptable, sort of thing? I don't do that very often. But, like, I think that was unreasonable. And they should not be keeping it outside. Nowhere else keeps kiln dried sand outside. I finished my backpack, by the way. It's functional. I've given it to Rich to try. Because I've already got my gardener, I don't need one. But I wanted to see what he thought. Email Wix. 100% manager Karen it. I was thinking about doing like a Instagram post or something and tagging them. I get people on Nextdoor commented on posts like, how much for that? Oh, really? Or just pay YouTube £10 a month for no ads. I could do that, but I'm tight. How do you sort all your jobs, by the way, like a calendar or a platform? I use Outlook. The calendar, I use Outlook for my emails and my calendar. It's a nice all-in-one. Yeah. I think, is it Microsoft Outlook? Yeah, I think it's Microsoft. Should, but in a calm manner, of course. Yeah, I'm always calm. I'm very reasonable. This girl pissed me off a little bit because she had an attitude. And I was just trying to say, like, you shouldn't really be selling that. You might want to consider taking that off the shelf. And she went, no, it's fine. I went, no, it's not. And then she went, are you going to buy it or not? I was like, you're a wanker. So instead of getting angry with her, I just said, yeah, whatever. "100% can't be selling something that's dry, wet. The whole point is we pay a premium for it because it's dry. Tell them the whole story." Yeah, true. Gruella video next week. YouTube content. Smelt burns down wicks over sand. What's Gruella? Store your sand in the way it's meant to be kept. Yeah, true. What do other people use kiln dried sand for in like other industries? Because it can't just be for the pressure washing industry. So what else is kiln dried sand used for? And is it required to be dry for those other uses? I know we like it dry because we do pressure washing. Look at this.
Boys, she's alive.
Can I make it bigger? That's what she said.
Boys, she's alive.
Hang on.
She's breathing. She's sucking. .8 litres per minute.
What do you think of that?
My little charging port.
Sounded like my brother then. My little charging port.
That is. Ooh-wee. Just gotta stick everything down, stop it floating about. Well, just the battery and the pump really, but
That's
how
quite
smart is that?
quite proud of that.
Draw from your barrel. Pipe.
I set him up with a little barrel. Little TFR barrel. That looks really professional, does it? Think I should start selling them. It was a lot of effort to make, actually. Took a lot of time. Maybe. I'm not sure if it's better than a gardener backpack though, because now instead of carrying one item, you've got to carry your pump and a barrel. You know what I mean? And that's what I said to Rich. Like, it might be awkward to use, but see what you think. But I mean, it's a chemical pump. It's quite an effective chemical pump. Like it puts out more product than the gardener backpack does, and it's just got a few more features on there that I think is quite nice. Take it through the airport, see how far you get. You'd buy one. Start making them. That looks really professional. Thanks. Maybe. Does anyone want one? I've given this one to Rich, so I'm going to get some feedback from him. I like the layout of it. This just needs a claber attachment. Instead of this hose coming out the side here, I'm going to chop that off and just put in one of those orange claber attachments. Make it into a trolley. Yeah, that would be the next step. Yeah, that would. Because you'd only have to... You'd mount that halfway up the trolley, have your barrel on the bottom, and you could pull it in and out to take it into charge. You know what I mean? You don't have to take the whole trolley inside the house to charge it. You could just take the box. Ooh. Does anyone want to see my trolley? It's a low. It's a low surface area trolley. I could do it in the classic L shape, but then you have the handles that stick out further than the wheels, and so it takes up more room in the van. This is more square. We're not going to get back onto this again. Everyone's going to rip the shit out of me for it. We're not doing it again. Needs support brackets and better access. Yep. Andrew, I think you're right, mate. That would be the best way of doing it. Reverse wheelbarrow. Oh dear. What else have I got on my list? What else do I want to talk about? Nothing. I'm done. Anyone else want to talk about something? Anyone got any questions? It's better than the Gardener backpack because the Gardener one isn't for chemicals. Michael, that trolley is a work of art. It's postmodern, conceptual, futuristic, ergonomic, all the buzzwords. I missed the answer to my question. Can your quote be done live tonight, or is that a big one? That repointing job, I think we just did it. I think we did it. It's going to be £12 per square metre for the cheaper stuff. £15 per square metre for the more expensive stuff. So it's either going to be 750 quid. I'm going to give him the option, or 600 quid, depending on which one he wants. This is actually going to be slightly more because the tubs are smaller. So that would probably need to be more like maybe £13 actually per square metre. How did you manage today in this heat? I hate it. I melt. I broke my water bottle today. And Jakey loves it. He loves the sun. But I struggle. I get too hot. Nasco, welcome. How effective do you think sanding is for weeds? It's not designed to prevent weeds. Sanding is designed to fill the joints and stabilize the blocks as if the driveway was just laid. So driveways the block paving gets installed, sand gets brushed into the joints to stop them wobbling around, and that's its purpose. Brushing sand into the joints just resets it back to how it should have been when it was installed. Arguably, I mean, sand, having something in the joints will potentially slow the rate of regrowth. The rate of regrowth will be the same, but the weeds will have a harder time poking up through the sand, I suppose. However, Squeaky Clean Dave put it this way to me. He said, you're essentially potting and watering the plants. You're pressure washing everything. So you're left with roots and stuff. And then you're giving it some like a base, like a it's not a compost, but it's a sand. Like, have you heard of hydroponics, where you can grow plants in like rocks and water and stuff? So you're essentially giving it a habitat by brushing in sand, and then as soon as it rains, that sand is getting watered, and it's like a perfect environment for weeds. So sanding, if anything, I mean, it's better than not having sand in the joints, but it's probably one of the worst things you can do, really, isn't it? Comes to think about it. The alternative would be either a hard setting sand. You can get something like Pro Joint Polysweep. So you brush this in dry, and then you mist over it a couple of times with water, and that sets hard. The other alternative, this is much more expensive. This is at my local supplier. It's 30 quid a bag, whereas normal kiln dried sand I'm paying £3.50 per bag. So it's considerably more. The other thing you can do is just sweep in kiln dried sand as normal and then seal the surface. And when you... God, that looks like a lot of effort just to put some sand in. So you're sealing the block paving, protecting it from weathering, oil stains, all that sort of stuff. But you're also setting the sand hard between the joints. And so that's going to help prevent the weeds from coming up through. You can never say that it's going to stop weeds. So people will contact you and they'll say, can you seal my block paving to stop the weeds? And you've always got to set their expectations and say, no, that's not how it works. I can seal the block paving, which will set the sand hard. Weeds will always come back through eventually, but this will slow them down. So you've just got to manage their expectations, basically. If I brush sand in my joints, will I stop wobbling around? I'm not sure that's how it works, mate. That was the quote, mate, yeah. I'm looking at bent lances. Is it just a case of buying one from Rutland and it will work on the fittings I have? Some of the lances are naked. Meaning they've got no fittings on either end. Some of them you can order with fittings. Some of them have the Q adapters on them, depending on which trigger you've got to plug in. Some of them have the 1/4 inch quick release adapter on the end. You need to pay attention to what you're buying when it comes to the lance, I think, because you need to make sure it fits what you need it to fit. My throat is very sore. What's going on? How was the winter season for you in your first year? The first winter, I had to go back to my previous job. So I had a 0-hour contract with my previous job. And I said, things have dropped off a cliff. I've got virtually no work. Can I come and do a few days? And they said, yeah, absolutely fine. This was before I'd started advertising for gutter clearing. I think I'd just purchased my gutter clearing equipment and I hadn't really done much yet. And so I wasn't really advertising for it. And it was a very slow winter. And so that made me really nervous about the whole business as an idea. I thought, like, can I actually do this if I've only got work in the summer? After September, I had nothing. No pressure washing work whatsoever. Apart from the odd, I did a car park. I did a commercial car park and that was it. But the second winter, now that I got into the swing of using my gutter vacuum and I was quite proficient at it, and with the help of Zach sending some emails out to get us working in some schools and stuff. I had done work for schools the previous winter, but it wasn't enough to like pay the bills. Zach really helped by sending out a load of emails. He got a list of emails for local businesses and schools. And those were some of my busiest months, my highest earning months, purely because we had some big commercial jobs. So gutter clearing really saved me this winter. And having Zach on board really helped as well. Wouldn't have been able to do that without him. I said the other day, I haven't checked sort of my earnings these last few months because things have been going quite well, but between the middle of December and the middle of January, we took 10 grand in 1 month, which for me is absolutely wild. Like, I never expected that for like a fairly new business. My first winter full time, to take 10 grand in the month that you think you're going to be the quietest, I was absolutely over the moon when I realised that. So it's very possible to you just got to diversify and change things up every now and again, and try and figure out what people want. I was doing Christmas light installations and stuff as well, and that was pretty fun. Sounds laborious and a bit annoying, which some of the jobs were, but kept the money coming in. You know what I mean? Fit a 230 volt outdoor blue socket to the van. Fit an actual double socket inside the van. Charge items when at the property or at home if needs be. That's a really good idea. Sounds like a lot of effort. It means I have to cut a hole in the van. Not sure I'm going to do it, but good idea. I know a lot of people do it. With the roof pressure washing, do you find it's taxing on your shoulders? I've been doing the water-fed pole for 15 years, looking to do some pressure washing with existing customers. Roof cleaning is probably one of the hardest jobs you'll ever do. Yeah. Especially if you've not done one before. There is a very steep learning curve, and once you've got maybe 5 or 6 under your belt, you'll start building that muscle memory. But you'll be extremely surprised on your first roof cleaning job if you're using like an extended high pressure lance to clean a roof. It's very eye-opening as to how difficult it is and how much mess you make. Instructions unclear. Have a weed plantation on my driveway. There's a GIU called Ryan does marketing. There's a guy called Ryan does marketing. Would you pay to get on Google Maps and be top? I think I'm already top in my area organically without paying, which is fortunate. Bad knees too. No. How much do you charge to put up Christmas lights? My base price was £75. That's alright, Joey. I think that's me you're talking to, isn't it? Yeah. Base price for putting up Christmas lights was £75. I did try with Sophie's mum. I thought, right, my strategy is going to be to buy a bunch of stock, buy a bunch of Christmas lights from like Amazon or whatever, generic ones, offer this as a service. I'll put them up for you, you rent them from me, and then I'll take them down for you in the new year, and this is how much money it's going to be. I did my first one, Sophie's mum, and I realised how much effort it was to not only find something that the customer actually likes and wants, to find it in the correct lengths, because there's no point in buying a generic size lights when you're fitting some to a mansion versus fitting some to a bungalow versus fitting, you know, houses are all different sizes. So how do you go about speccing a specific type of light that the customer wants to that specific house while also trying to keep them generic enough where you can reuse them again? So that was very confusing. The time it actually took to go on Amazon, find all the correct lights, place the order, and then wait for delivery was very annoying. That whole process just took too much time. So instead, going forward, instead of doing all that, I actually said I said from the beginning, I don't want to install someone's Christmas lights that they've had up in their loft for a year that are probably all tangled and stuff. But now, after having ordered all my own and stuff, I would much rather do that. I'll say to the customer, please make sure your lights are in good condition and they are tangled, like they're not tangled up. And please make sure you have an idea of where the power supply is going to be. Do you need to rent an extension cord off me? Ask a few questions and make sure they understand what the process is. Excuse me. Ask them if they want them going up to the gable end. Like that adds a huge amount of work to the job. If you've got clips and stuff, if you've got sticky ones that have to go onto the fascia, there's different ways of installing them. Sometimes they might need a little clip nailed in. So yeah, my base price was £75. I think the most expensive one I did was about £140, but we were doing about 5 or 6 a day at one point, and we were just flying through them with me and Zach. You know, Zach sorting everything out from the ground, me running up and down the ladder. It worked really, really well with two of us. I'm not sure I'd want to do it on my own. I think it'd be very difficult on your own. Probably, will I be doing it again this year? Probably. But I'm going to start advertising for it much earlier this year because I advertised quite late. How much of the 10 grand worth of work do you feel will repeat this year? It's hard to say with commercial stuff because people, they do a lot of talking and they have good intentions and they say, oh yeah, if you do this job for us, we've got all this other work for you lined up. Like if you do us a good price on this, we need the roof cleaning, we need all the gutters on that building doing, we need this, this and this. And you do a good job and they're really happy, and then you just never hear from them again. Even though you've spent an hour or two quoting all this other work, you just never hear from them again. So it's hard to say. I'd hope that a lot of them will come back. Then again, I'm not the cheapest, and I'm not trying to be the cheapest person. So no doubt they could go and get other quotes and have the work done cheaper. I don't know whether it would be up to my standard or not, but they could certainly find it cheaper. And sometimes in a commercial environment, they're just looking for the best price. Other times they want, they'll get 3 different quotes, and they might pick the best price, or they might pick who they think is best suited. You never know. I mean, I think on my website, if you look on gutter clearing, you can quite clearly see that we've had some, we do decent work. I could do with putting maybe more portfolio pictures up, but something like this, where you can see I'm wearing a high-vis jacket and it's a super long reach and it's large building, and I'll probably put the one from today up as well on the website, because like just showing that you work in these sorts of environments sort of gives the customer peace of mind that that you're equipped to deal with that sort of work. Did you set up your website yourself? Yes, I just went on GoDaddy. GoDaddy, used one of the templates, dropped all my pictures in, put in some information. Some of this is ChatGPT, kind of heavily edited by me. Like, you can't just copy and paste everything from ChatGPT because it's super boring to read. But I've got the benefit of getting videos and taking pictures of pretty much everything I do, and so I've got so much content if I wanted to put on this website. It's not the best website in the world, but I think the pictures are potentially slightly better than ones you'd expect to find on a pressure washing website. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not super established, like someone like H2O. If I was to go on H2O's website, H2O Restorations, theirs is much more professional than mine. And because they're very well established, they've got great pictures and loads of information. And they've integrated the Google reviews and stuff. Before and after pictures. This is cool. This is a very good idea. This is something that I wanted to do. I ended up not doing the before and after pictures here just because I didn't want people sort of right clicking and saving them and then using them as their own. Especially since I'm charging my boosted members to like purchase those before and after photos. So but yeah, having like your portfolio and having so much work here as well, and you can tell it's them. You can tell they're not just stock photos, it's actually them doing the jobs. This is like, what more do you need as a customer? You know what I'm saying? Just tag them up with your logo. I did that. I actually did that. I put an overlay, like a watermark with my logo in the middle, but it just made it look a bit rubbish. Transparency, yeah. I could. It takes a little bit away from the image though. It takes away how sort of impressive the image is. But yeah, I think this is a great example of like a good... They've got all their services here, which I don't have. I've just got pressure washing and gutter clearing and solar panels. But like, if you're specifically after commercial graffiti removal, patios, oil removal, they've got pictures that then filter onto those. Like, it's a good website. Right, I'm going to call it there. It's almost 3 hours, and I'm going to play you an advert, and then I'm going to head off. No video this week. Should be a good one. Should be a good one that I'm filming this week to have out for Monday, hopefully. So, thank you all so much for watching. Thanks for all your questions and stuff, and have a wonderful evening. Have a good week. See you in a bit. Now these. Is it broke again? Is my advert broke? Oh, there it is.
Member of the channel.
Okay.
Circle members and above will get access to my private Discord for members only, where you can pretty much get a hold of me 24 hours a day for inspiration, technical help, marketing advice, or just a general chat. I post pictures and videos that you won't see on any of my other socials. You'll be the first to hear about giveaways, special offers and announcements, and it's just generally a nice place full of like-minded people who are all heading towards similar goals. We've got various different experience levels. We've got a few professionals in the chat as well. If you want to push your business, in my opinion, this is the place to be. We also have 2 other membership tiers. One is just to show a bit of support for the channel, and the other one is for boosted members, which will not only give you access to the private Discord, but also loads of high quality promotional images for you to start your business. I know what it's like when you're ready to get going, but you don't have any before and after pictures to put on your leaflets. At the moment, there's about 150 images that you can use for pretty much whatever you like, and my intention is to constantly update these over the next few years with all of my before and afters that have helped promote my business. Last thing before I let you go. New videos come out every Monday night at 5:30, and then I go live at 7:30 to chat to you guys and answer as many questions as possible. We do live quotes for real customers and just generally keep up to date with everything going on in the pressure washing world. Thanks for watching. Back to the video.